Well, hello to you who are here and those of you who might be viewing this in the future. This is a focus on applied consciousness, and we always do a learn by doing. And this is about meditation and self holistic healing. Here's our rough agenda. So we're starting now around noon Pacific time. And at the end, you'll be able to do the healing and for doing it for as long as you like. That's why I say approximately 2 o'clock. The meditation and self holistic healing, I'm going to give some background, and then we will be kind of talking a lot and using intention, and there's love and spirituality. And then the concept of letting go becomes very important. And then we'll do it. Okay, subtle energy. Here's a definition. Subtle energy is a concept that exists in various spiritual and alternative healing traditions. It refers to a form of energy that is believed, and I love when they use the word believe because this is so true, to exist beyond the scope of conventional scientific measurement. Now, that's true, and is often associated with the body, mind, and spirit. Subtle energy is thought to play a significant role in the balance and well-being of an individual. And that is definitely true. Vital life force is just used by other traditions, but it's the same thing. It's qi in Chinese medicine and ki in Japanese traditions. And this connects up with the chakras and the meridians. Subtle energy is often associated with chakras. Energy healing practice like Reiki, acupuncture, and Qigong aim to manipulate and channel subtle energy. So you can see subtle energy is there to promote healing and balance in the body. Practitioners, and again, they use the word claim, but practitioners help remove energy blockages and restore the natural flow of vital energy. And then all of this is mind-body connection. Yoga and meditation are often used to focus the subtle energy. So this idea of subtle energy, as you've already seen, is in many traditions. It's different words, lots of books out it, in English, and there are a lot of books in the other traditions. But subtle energy is a major player in healing and other things, balancing the body, which is a type of healing. Now, self-holistic healing refers to a practice of taking a comprehensive and integrative approach to healing and well-being on an individual level. So it involves not only the physical, but all the elements, mental, emotional, and spiritual, are all connected and considered as a whole. So that's holistic. You may be having a pain in some part of your body, but that could be connected to other parts of your body or to your emotional state or spiritual state. Okay, now spiritual meditation, our last definition, but this one is important because that's what we're going to be doing some of. Spiritual meditation is a form of meditation that is often practiced with the intention of, and the key word, intention of deepening one's connection with a higher power, the divine or the sacred. So that's the spiritual meditation. It's commonly associated with all kinds of religions and spiritual traditions, Christianity, Islam, Hinduism. So this is something which has been done for thousands and thousands of years to foster a closer relationship with God, the divine, or the transcendent, whatever you call it. Okay, so let's get into this. Get into a happy place. That's always helpful. And I'm reminding you that self-holistic healing is really manipulating, we're really having a higher power manipulate the subtle energy. Your job is in the intentions. Now, this is something which I hope you can get. And it's hard to get real deep, but you have infinite potential. How much of your infinite potential is manifested really depends on your free choice of intentions and resonance with higher levels of consciousness in the UCC. So you have infinite potential for sure. I'm not going to get in the 0 point energy stuff, but all coming from the spiritual, and you basically have infinite potential. Now, here's another book on it, Infinity in Your Hand. But I want to make something else clear here. There are levels of infinity. When I say you're infinite, and you are, I am, everybody who is on this planet now has infinite potential, but we're not God. There are levels of infinity. I can actually show this, which I won't do now in mathematics. There are different levels of infinity. And the divine, God, whatever you want to call the highest, is there. But nevertheless, we have infinite powers and potential, which we need to learn how to manifest. And that's what this is going to be about, learning how to manifest it in the health area. Excuse me. So the subtle energy is in you. It's in every cell of your body. Now, confidence that spiritual healing is in you is what we need to build up, but it is in you. It is in me. It is part of the infinity that is in us. And again, we have infinite potential. Edgar Cayce, now he was in the late 1980s, early 1990s, and yet he got it. These are from many of his readings that he did. He lived from 1877 to 1945. He was an American mystic, clairvoyant, and healer who is often referred to as a sleeping prophet due to his practice of conducting readings or consultations while in a self-induced stance or altered state of consciousness. He's best known for his ability to diagnose medical conditions and provide therapeutic advice, often in a holistic and metaphysical context. So, I've read more about him. Someone would come to him with an illness, ask for his help, and he would give help from the kind of common things that were in his cabinet, soda. I don't know what to tell you. Stuff that normal people would have in those days. There wasn't penicillin or anything like that. Now, he was born in Kentucky. He was a religious person. He did 14,000 readings, and mostly health and healing, some past life work, spirituality, and some readings about the future, because that's what he was asked about. Holistic healings often emphasized holistic healing, which included recommendations for diet change, herbal remedies and various therapies such as massage, hydrotherapy, and spinal adjustments. He believed the mind, body, and spirit were interconnected, and addressing underlying spiritual and mental issues could lead to a physical healing. So he was definitely into the holistic healing. Okay, now I'm going to give you what I consider to be a really important quote from him that shows that he got it. Know that all strength, all healing of every nature is the changing of the vibrations from within, the attuning of the divine within the living tissue of a body to creative energy. The attuning of the divine, higher power, God, whatever you want to call it, within living tissue of a body. And that's where these creative energies towards health come from. This alone is healing, whether it is accomplished by the use of drugs, the knife, or whatnot. It is the attuning of the atomic structure of the living cellular force to its spiritual heritage. So the divine gets into the cellular level and causes and creates healing. Now, I've talked about this universe of collective conscious model before, but I now want to do it in the context of healing. So this is the blue, and it represents the universe of collective consciousness containing everything consciousness touches, everything, past, present, future, and probable futures. They're in there. Quantum mechanics is a reality, and it talks about probable futures, about usually where subatomic particles are, but and then the final one shows up, but the probable ones are still down there. Outside of space and time and energy, it's like the source of space, time, and energy. Ignore the outer boundaries since there's no outside of the UCC. And this is a remarkable construct, a little bit like the whole universe. You know, there's no boundary, you're not going to hit a wall. As soon as you were to think of some idea, oh, I know this is outside. And of course, it wouldn't be because you just thought about it. So it's in there. So this is non-physical. The physical universe comes from here. And real are in here and probable are in here. Now let's talk about probable states. In quantum mechanics, the concept of probable states is fundamental to understanding the behavior of quantum systems. And we are all quantum systems. You know, they talk about the level of electrons and photons, but that's because they can understand it down there. But we're quantum systems. But until measured, the electron can be in probable states. For example, probable locations. And until measured, you don't know which one. In macro mechanics, life now, us, the concept of probable states is fundamental to understanding the behavior of life systems. Until consciously experienced, a future event can be in probable states. For example, probable RV transcripts or probable health states. Now, we're quite used to in remote viewing, when we do our remote viewing session, we are searching for what we're going to see in the future. But sometimes we get something else. Those probable states were indeed out there, and you keyed into that instead. Okay, let's now get to life states. And these are events, the way you're living. So here's self-holistic healing event. Now it has a fuzzy boundary because, you know, defining it exactly when it starts, what's it all connected to. In the real world, and this is now real world, the red with the rounded, this is a real world, event like we're going to do in the future. We're going to do a real event like that. But now let's look at it a little further. So the events cannot ever be completely separated from the UCC, and that's what the fuzzy boundary does. It connects you with everything else in the UCC. Now, there's something called entanglement energy, and it's needed to maintain this illusion of separateness in the physical world, and it maintains communication with the UCC. There's got to be something which is maintaining us from the subtle UCC type of world and then the real world. Okay, and that energy is subtle energy, and it grows. Now, I want to explain this first here, and then I'll give you some words. Remember, we started with this event. These other states here are possible future health events. They too have fuzzy boundaries. They're connected to the full UCC. All that information is down there. So these are possible health events. These are well, that's it. There are other probable events. For example, let's say you do nothing from here. Then this may be where you'll end up. If you take a lot of vitamins or something, you might end off here. You change your diet, you might end off here. You do all of those things and self-heal using self-holistic, you might end off here where you have healthy feedback. So you are the one who needs to make the connection with the healed state, the healed event. So in words, again, the blue is the UCC, but now this includes these probable events. You can ignore the probable events. You can increase entanglement. And one event, this event, is doing your self-holistic healing. And which one of these you go to, all of these are possible. The black arrow shows a strongly entangled and desired health outcome, which occurs, and I believe this, because of strong feedback. When you get little bits of that healthy state, you feed it back. And then you get more, you feed it back until you're completely healthy. That's the concept here. Lots of times it happens right away. With headaches, it happens pretty immediately. I no longer get headaches because I used these techniques many, many, many years ago. And I've used it on other things that are gone. But sometimes they take a while to go, like on a wart. But this works. You watch it, oh, it got a little smaller. That's feedback. And you emphasize it, knowing that it's connected to here. I hope you get that. If there are any questions, ask it. It looks complicated, but it really isn't. You end off with only one event from here, and that's the one you were desiring. Now it may, there's this fuzzy boundary here. So what you desired may have different forms, but you'll know it when you get there. And that feedback is so important. Okay. Now, okay, you get that. Good. In some ways, this is another way of saying pretty much the same thing, but this connects in the UCC. Here you're doing your healing session, but you're actually intending to heal. It's kind of a remote viewing. You want to be with your feedback session. Okay. And here you are starting out like this, but with your sub, you're going down to the UCC, and your intention is to be like here. You're starting out maybe not so happy, but your intention is to be happy with your healing issue. Okay, so here's your now and here's your future. And the way that happens is, okay, so here I called it the healing precog session, which is a type of remote viewing. You're intending to influence the outcome. You go down through your subconscious, you connect up with the UCC, and here's the retrocausal feedback session to the earlier healing session, just like in remote viewing. And it connects up with your sub. The sub here is important because you're always connected here, right? To this state, this spiritual, non-real state. The sub is your intermediary. You know, you get to kind of talk to your sub. Your intentions go, and you can feel them in yourself, and you transmit them down to the sub. And the same thing with the feedback session. It goes down to the sub. And the entanglement energy, which makes all of this real, it is held by focused intention, positive expectation, and joyful emotion. Through all of this, you just want to stay as positive as possible. Keep your intention clear and just be positive. All this makes so much sense. And getting ourselves to do it, as I said, this is where your free will comes in. And you need to choose to do this and do it. And then you really can reach your happy state. Now, there's another concept here. And I guess I have to say this doesn't work for everybody, I'm afraid. Just like spoon bending doesn't work. Some people try it and they don't get it, but then they do get it. And I don't know. I am such a positive person. I believe everybody can be healed, but maybe not. The person may not at some level want to be healed. So it's a little bit hard to know about everybody. But this is what I believe works. I've seen it work. I've got great testimonials to it. And one of the new concepts here, as opposed to probable events and feeding back the healing events, and sometimes it's gradual. There are multiple events, but boy, you feed them back every time, feel really good about them as it progresses. Now, there's another concept here, which is letting go. And this shows up in a very clear fashion with spoon bending. And Dean Radin did this, and he was a total skeptic. And he first started out with strong intentions, and then they tell you to look away. So he was watching a woman who had said she bent the spoon before, so that got him someplace else. He let go of his deep intentions. Of course, it's still deep down. You got to get that. When he said his intention, in fact, at some spoon bending parties, they like shout at it. Others don't. They just deeply set the intention. And then he dropped it. He didn't consciously say to himself, I know it's deep down and my divine self knows it, but that's what happened. He dropped it and had a certain level of trust. And then after 5 minutes of watching and intently putting his intention someplace else, watching the woman attempting to bend a similar spoon, to my surprise, my spoon started to bend. So I don't know why the world works that way. I think I do. I think it's a trust. You're saying, I want this to be healed. I want to get much better. I want the world to be different. I want there to be peace in Israel. I mean, attention is in a way like prayer. I once got asked that question, and the answer is yes, it is. It is like prayer. You're intending for something to get better. Um, but when you do, in fact, even prayer may be a good example. You see the little kid, or adults probably do this, side of the bed, doing their prayers, and then they go to bed. And there's a trust element that God, in fact, will hear them and do it. So letting go is very, very important. And believing that you're being heard and trusting that you're being heard by not only a higher power, but by the divine in you. Remember, you are infinite, and you want that infinity in you, which is supported by the divine, to do the healing, do the spoon bending. And this works. Gallenberger has used the exact same technique. Donna has used this, and she's using it for money. It's okay. I think she actually donates some of it, or she may not. But and she looks away after she makes her bet. She looks down further, looks at other people, and it works. So this letting go and trusting. Okay. So I found this on a card, which I thought was pretty good. Letting go and trusting God. That's what the card said. But you may have your own image of God. It's divine, higher power. Your infinite power may be what you want to think of as God, because you do have infinite power. The divine and higher power has more, but so what? You've got infinite power, infinite potential power. Okay, now let's talk about our approach. First of all, always heed medical advice. If doing on others, and remember, we're all connected. So you're doing it, but you're connected to this other person. You feel that. And so you're working to heal somebody else, but always get their consent. Feedback is very important, period. You might get little steps. It might happen all at once. You might be illuminated in some spiritual, holistic way about what the healing might teach you. But whatever this is, take all this in as feedback. And sometimes you need to do this often. I recommend we're doing this Monday through Fridays at 9 o'clock, 9 a.m. Pacific time. So the idea is to enhance intention and connection with the divine by doing this more often. And the meditations that we do will just get you closer and closer to the divine. Right now, I'm doing it mostly just for the meditations. Pay attention to your health issue. Okay, so to start this, you want to have your health issue with you. Now, if you got an ache in the shoulder, I mean, that's pretty easy, but you focus on it, bring it consciously. You might have been forgetting it as we're talking, but now bring it into your attention. This might be physical, mental, emotional, spiritual. So consciously bring it to where you're experiencing it. And I do recommend, getting a little piece of paper, sketching it in some way or other. Put one or two words there, because during the healing, actual healing session, when you're going to be doing healing, you may want to refer back to it if it's not still present with you, or if it's getting better. Anyway, a sketch helps at the beginning, especially. Okay, now we're going to set intention to heal. Set intention to heal holistically. You may not know what these other connections are, but just be open to it. So that's your intention. Set intention to heal. I hope I've emphasized this enough. I hope you're getting bored with healing it, but we're about to do it. Now, here's how we're going about it. We're going to first set the intention to heal, and then we're going to do a 4-minute meditation. Stephen writes, and this is a deep I am meditation, and it really increases kinetic connection with the divinity and the infinity in you. Now, you set your intention. Here's where the trust level comes in. You, during these 4 minutes, you just focus on the meditation. Just listen to him, get into what he's saying, feel it, go deeper and deeper, and let go of the conscious intentions and trust. So 7 minutes is where now you're doing sort of what I call a gentle intention, self-holistic healing, and trust that a higher power will do the healing. And in the background, we'll have SAM. It's spatial angular modulation developed by the Monroe Institute. And it's just a very gentle healing music and sound. And I use the word here, gentle. Yes, you're healing, but you know that you're healing with the higher power assisting you. And so you've got kind of a knowing that this is all working, a trusting. Okay. So I'm going to emphasize this thing of intention again. Joe McMonagle and Ed May, in our field, we all know Joe, and Ed was a key scientist working on all of this, Stargate, and through all its different names. But it's clear that intention, attention, and expectation play a very important role in the success of application and research. So again, intention, obviously you want to pay attention, get rid of those things which are not relevant, and stay positive. Intention. Okay, so now get clear on what your intention is to heal your issue. Be open to holistic connections. Make it personal. Do it your way. Okay, so right now, you might know it will be healed. Quickly imagine it healed. Know it will be healed. Very early part of setting the intention. So you're setting your intention to heal. You're being positive about it. Add love and joy. How can that not assist? Right? Actually bring in love and joy. I look at pictures of my grandkids. They always make me feel better. Go to a past occasion where you felt really good, felt wonderful, and just encircle your intentions with love and joy. And again, set your intention to heal, knowing got a higher power using this subtle energy. Let it do the work. You do the intention and trust it's going to do the molecular changes needed in your cells. Okay, let's do it. Your intentions are clear. Now let's focus on this meditation. Stephen writes, deepen yourself.
So let us take some words into meditation, repeated simple phrases. First of all, just allow yourself to repeat. Do not be afraid. Imagine that is being said to you by your wise teacher that you acknowledge, Jesus, your Buddha nature, the Prophet, Allah, the universe, nature. But somewhere echoing around the universe is that deep-seated voice that says, don't be afraid. And perhaps as we touch into that phrase of don't be afraid, we recognize that as human beings we exist on many planes of existence, from our mortal frame, our minds and bodies, to an aspect of our being that is immortal, the soul, our essence. Each of us, during our lives may touch into that truth. It may sometimes seem far away, sometimes may seem close. Some of us may live it moment by moment, recognizing that we are not just who we think we are. We're not our roles, our identities. So be open now, deep in our consciousness, deep in the unconscious. Allow ourselves to say quite simply, I am. Breathe in the word, I. Breathe out the word, am. Just sit for a moment, breathing, I am. Encouraging the sense of simply being. No need for an addition that I am this, or I am that, or I'm experiencing this. But I am open to, receptive to the deepest, very core of our being. This I amness has been said throughout time in all traditions. It is eternal. It is immortal. We open ourselves, are receptive to our essential nature, which does not know death. The we who we think we are may pass away, the world may pass away, but it is only one plane of consciousness, deep in the very core of our being, is the immortal I amness, which all beings, all life, all creation possesses. And as we touch into that essential I amness, as we breathe in the word I, breathe out the word am. We remember that those are the very words when asked, who are you, of the divine? That is exactly what the divine says. I am. And we say, I am. And all beings say, I am. The whole universe is saying, I am.
Now, with the divine, with the infinity in you, heal yourself. Holistically heal yourself. And this will go on for an hour, When you feel you've done enough, simply leave this webinar. Heal yourself.